Hello and welcome back for another episode of Patriotic Housewife. I want to show you guys this interview. If you don't watch Jullian Dorey's podcast on here, just in case you haven't seen this interview, he interviewed Elizabeth Lane. She was the person who wanted to help get Tyler Robinson a lawyer very early on in this. She did a segment on Redacted, and I think she's super inspiring for women who want to get into this space and, just encouraging in the don't be afraid to put yourself out there and talk about big issues. And I don't know, I really, really like her. So I got messaged about, did you see this interview? And I was like, no, it's a very long interview. It's like 3 hours. But she talks about, she went to the court date for Tyler Robinson, and she's going to talk about what that was like. It's really important information, guys, and we need to spread this. We need to spread this. We need to spread this. The information that she gives about what she's seen, what she heard is very concerning. Okay. So again, this is Jullian Dorey's podcast. It's Heated Debate Charlie Kirk, The Elites, NASA Moon Landing with Elizabeth Lane. You guys can watch the whole interview. We're just gonna watch this portion of the interview because I think it's so important. Again, before we get started, if you guys do like this video, please like it, comment on it, share it. It helps it get pushed into the algorithm and gives it more traction. And I think that his work, especially in this case, is so important because we have a possible innocent life on the line here. So be sure to do that. Subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate all of the support for the channel. Now let's jump into this interview.
We actually haven't talked about this yet today, but you've been we mentioned at the beginning, we just haven't gone into it.
Yeah.
You've been in the courtroom for the Tyler Robinson thing, post Charlie Kirk, because you live out in Salt Lake.
Right. I live in Salt Lake, which is people diss Salt Lake so much. I don't know whether it's like Mormons, they
Probably
diss
just
or
a
whatever.
Mormon thing.
Great people. So I love Salt Lake. It's so good. But I was there. I live there. And of course, the very first hearing that I attended, it was so weird. So get this. I thought this is a high profile case. Would you say it's a high profile case?
Yeah.
Thank you. So would you expect a ton of people to show up?
Do we think this is a high profile case? Absolutely. And this is the biggest assassination of our lifetime. The only public assassination of our lifetime. Absolutely.
Probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I expected. I got there early. I went up and there's maybe like give and take. Obviously, I didn't count, but maybe 20 people there. That's it. Journalists.
It's a state court.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, why are
I have to pause for several reasons. There were more people at the Karen Reed trial that were allowed into court. And that was a pretty big case for anyone who followed the Karen Reed case. If you didn't, you should look it up. It was, you want to talk about corruption at its finest. That was a great example. But 20 people to be there, that's interesting, including journalists.
Why is it just us? Why is it not like lines of people trying to get in? So that's awkward.
Yes.
But all right, let's move on, right? We go in, they're like, no phones in the pocket. I'm like, well, I don't have pockets and I don't have, I don't have a purse. I never have a purse, like rarely, right? Like, bag. I do have a purse, but it's small purse. So I'm like, I have nothing to put this in. So because what they told us was if we see a phone in your hands, you're out. Why so strict?
Is that legal? Is that legal?
I don't know. I don't know if it's
either.
legal, but it's a public trial, right? Like it's a public the thing. So you would think that should not be a problem. And
that's crazy. Plenty of big cases or murder trials where people are allowed to have their phones in the courtroom. I've never heard of that unless it's a federal case like Diddy. Then no media or anybody was allowed in the courtroom. This is not a federal case. This is a state level case.
Excuse was, well, we don't want to make a circus out of it. Like no filming, no nothing. Okay, no one's filming. Can I just freaking have a phone like on me?
Yeah.
So I had to like put my phone in between my legs and hide it. What if they saw that I have it in my hand or something, right?
Yeah, now it's on camera. You admitted it.
What are they gonna do? Like,
come arrest you.
Yeah, F them. So anyway,
Love her energy, by the way.
the point is, I had so they said you will be ousted, right? I'm sitting there listening. The whole Tyler Robinson persona was weird. Like the guy never moved. I said this multiple times. Like he was there like a zombie. You watched the tape, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
The recording.
Dead, but behind the eyes.
Completely.
Yeah.
So, and he states his name and he's like, blah, 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 and that's it. And nothing else.
The new bearskin hoodie
Sorry, guys. We got to get through this like 2-second ad.
4.0 claims to be the most advanced waterproof.
And within, I don't remember exactly what time it was. If I had my phone on me, I would probably know. But
what about that watch right there?
This is actually not working.
No,
and
you're
I
like
keep
me.
Yeah. You keep the watch if you like.
I'm guilty of that with the watch, by the way, just for comedic relief here.
The clock out there, it hasn't told the time in fucking forever. Right? It's just there for the look.
Just there. Yeah. I love how it looks. So it's there.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how long it was, but it felt 15 to 20 minutes max of entire thing. So then they take a recess.
This is just the first hearing.
First hearing, okay. Yeah. So, and by like just being it a first hearing, I assumed, okay, so we're going to break the case with judge is going to talk, like this shit is going to happen, right? Yeah, like maybe 15 to 20 minutes. That's what it felt like. And then they were like, okay, we're taking a recess. I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? I didn't understand. And like,
what did they discuss in the 15, 20 minutes? Like, what was the total?
They presented a case. They presented what he was accused of and seemed like, I don't remember exact quote, but like, this is where we found out that they were going for the death penalty, right? So that was it. Like nothing else. He didn't have a lawyer back then. Keep in mind, like he
didn't have a lawyer at all.
No, so they were looking for his lawyer. This is like a very first hearing, right? So he was in prison, all in virtual, right? He was not in person. But another weird thing was there were no relatives of Tyler Robinson.
That's not concerning, you guys. No family. Your own parents wouldn't come to the trial of their son, guilty or not. You want to know what this should spook everybody, because look at Brian Kohlberger in the Idaho 4. Okay. We have had some really, really sick individuals, okay, where their families came and supported their kids regardless. That is bizarre to me. Where are his parents?
Nobody was there.
That part surprises me less.
You're thinking, don't bring the parents because it will become a spectacle or something?
I don't think they would want to come. I think they would probably be so shell shocked. This is just the first hearing. That one surprises me less. Right. Continue.
Yeah. So I mean, I could understand.
Sorry to pause this again, but what about like Chris Watts? You don't think his parents were disgusted? The man murdered his 2 daughters and his wife, and his family was in the courtroom. Whether you're disgusted with your child or not as a parent, even when they mess up, you're still their parent. I don't know. I can't even think of a situation where the parents and the family didn't support their child. Like I said, we've had some really Casey Anthony. What was the other one that was out of I'm drawing a blank right now, but either way, the parents, sisters, brothers are usually there.
Understand that. And when I spoke to, so I work with like people, well, I know a lot of former FBI guys, I know a lot of former SEALs, CIA peeps, like, buckets of them. So, and they are all the same, by the way. They all think they are different, but they are all so similar. Like, sociopathic, narcissistic, lying, all of this stuff. It's there. I'm sorry. So, but anyway, they all said, the people like from FBI, former FBI guys that I know, I called up my detective as well, like lead detective NYC PD. So I was like, would you, like, what would happen with the parents? Because I'm not aware of this stuff, right? What authorities would like to do in these cases, like high profile cases. So I was like, what would you do with the family? And he was like, he said the same thing as you. Like, I'm not surprised they were not there. Like, I would advise against it to go and like sit there, right? So I get that part, even though if I was a mother, I would be there. If I was a mother, I wouldn't care. I would be there to support my kid, right?
It's hard to, it's really hard for me to put myself in the parent shoes. I can't even imagine, you know, this is not long after as well. It's like, maybe you would. Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, and what was the most unusual part was the fast recess, right? Why are we going to recess again? What's up? Like, why? Give us everything. And then another unusual part was like, okay, recess means you're gonna continue, right? So I'm coming back or something. They were like, no, you're free to go. We were like, what? So why dismiss journalists and not let them back in?
So they conducted more parts of the hearing.
As I understand, yes, because they said that we're going to take a recess. That means like they're going to come back, right? So why not include us there?
So they didn't let.
That is really bizarre too. Because if there's a recess for everybody. So why did they want the media and people out? You never hear of that.
Let you back in.
And I thought, I was like, did I mishear something like that? So I'm walking with another journalist who was like walking behind me. I was like, so that's it? They are not going to let us back in? And she goes like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I just left. So yeah, I mean, the whole case is weird. I'm pretty sure you know.
It's weird. It's weird.
So I had young Carol, an amazing dude, by the way, who's
been on my show.
Oh, he has? Yeah. Ian is awesome. He has a great channel and he's like following this much closer than I am because I took a different route. Ian is following every single video. Like everything that
Ian does turn over a lot of rocks, man.
Right. And that's great, right? Yeah. So he's on this like a hawk. And recently he had that whole Mike McCoy thing going, right? Like you watched that.
Is this he was the chief of staff who was on the phone behind it?
Yeah.
What's a little strange to me is how strong his dad is being about it. His dad wasn't fucking there.
But daddy was watching. He slipped and said he was watching.
That's weird. Yeah. I think, you know, the one part about this whole thing, because it's weird. The whole thing is fucking, I mean, we'll go into it. But like how people react to something like that can vary a lot. You know, the kid, I watched the video of him. The kid was on the phone and he just like turned around and then was like walking away. And, you know, maybe it's surreptitious. Or maybe like he's like, what the fuck did I just see? And his body is flighting away from it. What I just found really weird though was how the dad.
Thanks.
Right? Yeah. Like, can you tell people what the dad was saying and what the difference was there?
So the dad really screwed his son over, in my opinion, because
a little bit more, a little bit
more. Sorry, guys.
And my husband, Ryan, died when he was 35 years old. When,
as I understand, Mike McCoy had told, I don't remember what outlet, but I think it was Washington Post or something like that. He told them that he was on the call with Erica Kirk, right? So he was talking to Erica Kirk. Well, his father comes out and says, within a minute, my son called me and he was covered in blood.
Yeah.
Like
covered in blood.
I don't know, Jullian, I might be blind, but did you see any blood on him?
Unless I didn't see him get in the car afterwards. No. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Well,
but for those of you who don't know, he ended up in Salt Lake City.
Well, he was never in the car, right? When Frank came out and named who was in the car with him.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, he didn't name Frank. Mike McCoy, right?
So no, Mike was not in the car, as I understand. And he was also, when they loaded Charlie in the car, he was walking away.
Yeah.
So okay, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say he was shocked. Okay, he was shocked, or
why are we not running? That's my question. Blake Neff ran so fast, you guys, and I'm sorry I have to pause this because it makes me so mad. Blake Neff was running so fast for his life, and Mikey was so chill. And then they're like, oh, well, we knew there wasn't any more gunfire coming. How would you know that? How would you know that? None of the behavior is really of a normal person. Then you have Blake Neff saying, oh, well, we all, there were so many people running through the barricades that you had to walk through. That's why Mikey walked. Well, how the hell would you know? You were halfway down the block. Hello? How would you know that? What would you know? And then you see the footage with your own eyes. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Your eyes are not deceiving you. What you see is what you're seeing. Okay? Everybody is jumping over that barricade and going around Mikey McCoy. Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to listen to what people are saying, watch the footage yourself with your own two eyeballs. And at this point, I don't understand how your two eyeballs are lying to you. Crazy.
Or let's say he's a coward. He was shocked and he's a coward and he didn't want to be in the line of the bullet or whatever. Okay, great.
Not according to Blake Neff and his dad. He had his wits about him, and he was a general, you guys. That man was absolutely outstanding that day. A true example of how you should behave when your supposed best friend, which Charlie's everyone's best friend now, acts. I don't want friends like that, by the way. That's not how I want my best friend to act if I get shot.
Why lie afterwards? Why, when everything is safe and Charlie's rushed to the car, why not check on him? Why not be rushing there? Why not be helping? So that's where the case falls apart, right? His own case where he says like, well, I was just afraid and, I needed to get away. Okay, what after? When Charlie's in the car, go check on him.
Yeah,
what's up?
With his quivering lip.
With
that? That's what I'm saying. Like, who's lying?
I think both of them
are. Is it just the dad? Is it both? Is it him? It's weird no matter what.
Oh, for sure.
It's weird.
Because either way, his dad story doesn't line up, right? So if he's talking to his dad, well, like when you look at the footage, he's already on the phone with somebody, right?
Yes.
So he did not call. Exactly. Yeah. So he didn't call within a minute. Right. He was already on the phone. Mm-hmm. So that's a lie, right? So then you would think that the guy didn't hear the gunshot in the call. Like, of course, okay, let's say he's deaf. He's old. He's deaf. He didn't hear it. Why say within a minute? What are you winning with that?
Do you think it's possible for that he, when you say like, oh, within a minute or within 2 minutes, it was actually really within 3, which we don't even have that video. His son may have hung up that first call and then called his dad.
Could be.
Which then also, to be fair, does not explain, oh, he was soaked in blood or all this stuff. Like, again, I don't know why the guy... Right. I couldn't figure out why the guy came out and was saying all that.
Yeah, because I think...
Guys, I'm going to pause this for a second, and I just want to bring this point before I lose it, because lupus brain is real. Why are you divulging, like, a time frame? Like, you could just say, like, oh, I called Erica, I called this person, I called this person. And you could just say, like, I don't know how long I was on the phone. That's reasonable. Anybody who's been in a really traumatic situation, usually you're like, I don't know, because what is 5 minutes in that time frame feels like forever. Like, it just does. And so why in the beginning they were so quick? Like, even Brian Harpool in his interview with Sean Ryan, within 14 seconds we did this or whatever. Like, why would you divulge a timeline? You don't have to do that. And it's kind of one of those things when people are so quick to give a story and then like have all these details. It's weird because people who are going through situations like that, you don't have that know how and know of. Like, it's not, your adrenaline's going.
Right. What he wanted to do, quite honestly, is portray his son as a hero.
But once you give that information and then all of a sudden it's not true, it's like, well, why did you say it anyway? Like, why even say it to begin with? Do you follow what I'm saying?
And he was
like, you know what I mean?
Good question. So if you were, and I'm not saying they are, I'm just like hypothetically.
Yeah.
If you were a villain, what first instinct of yours would be?
Project yourself as the hero.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
See,
Could be.
And it's just similar to a murder case. You see a lot of people, like I said, Chris Watts, prime example, very, very helpful in the investigation of like, oh, yes, my poor wife, please give my wife and my kids back, injects himself. Oh, I'm going to go to the neighbor's house in advance and ask for the security footage. And you know what I mean? We've seen it before. This is not the first scenario, so it's not far-fetched.
We could be wrong. We could be one of those.
There's a lot of things this could be. I mean, I'm just at a point with it where, I do think people are running with things as fact online, which is not good.
A fact.
Like I had my friend Brian Enton in here. I think that episode will come out like right in front of yours. And like, he'll get a lot of shit for how he's reporting on it, but he's just reporting what he sees. Right. And he's not going beyond that. And he's also reporting what people are saying. You and I can sit here and be like, I think that guy's lying or whatever. He's not going to do that. That's fine with me. I think that you also have to be very open to the idea, as in like almost like kind of assume it, that the story we've been told, not to say Tyler Robinson's not involved, but the story we've been told, kid on top, shot him 30-06, down, out, over. Like, what faith have we been given at this point from people around the investigation to ever assume that that's the full story?
And I'm going to pause again to say the fact that in any other murder case, you rule out the spouse. Like when OJ's wife died, OJ was a suspect. You rule out the spouse and then you go from there. Did anyone dislike you? Did you have any threats? And you go down the list, right? In any normal investigation, if I were to go out and do something to somebody, they would, you know what I mean? You rule things out. So why were they so quick to say, this is fact, this is what it is, and not, and I understand, like, okay, it's probably not fun for a spouse when they had nothing to do with their spouse's murder, but it's a part of investigating, period, end of story. It happens to everyone. Just because this is Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk does not mean that they get any special treatment. Why did we not further investigate? Why did we not start bringing several people in for interviews? Why are we having the general public, like Phil Lyman's nephew, out there walking the crime scene and being like, I found this shoe print in the dirt? Like, why is that happening? There was nothing secure about that crime scene. Nothing was done the way it would be done if you or I committed a crime. And this is a state case. Cash Patel had no business inserting himself into it anyway.
Right.
It doesn't seem that way. And like, if I were running a PR campaign on the aftermath of this, I would never do any of the things that they've done. I would like to think I would never do it. Right. I mean,
absolutely.
like the optics
are
awful.
Absolutely. And the problem is like, they are so angry. Like I know this for a fact because when I did my interview with Tucker, like they just went freaking nuts online. And I'm like, I've never seen anything like that. We were not even like, we only touched on Charlie like a couple of times. And all of a sudden I've got all these trolls like anti-Semite.
I have 8,000 followers. And as soon as I posted those whistleblower videos, I had pretty good comments. Like I had much love in the comments. Like I'm not saying that you're never going to have trolls and you're never going to have people, nitpicking you, because that's just miserable people. They're always going to do that. But I can't tell you how mean and crazy it got when those whistleblower videos got put up. So I can absolutely believe what she's saying. And it to me, that speaks volumes in a situation.
Anti-Semite, and they realized afterwards that, oh, wait a second, she actually works with Jewish people. We can't do that. So then I became a Russian puppet. So like, it's crazy.
See what I'm saying? They always find something to pick at. They always do. The trolls do. And the people that are doing it, that are picking at you, they do nothing to better their life, but yet they have so much to say about you and yours. It's the best part of trolls.
But I just didn't realize, like I took a screenshot and sent it to Tucker, and Tucker was like, that bothers you.
Of course. What is
like,
actually, you don't have to answer this, especially if it's like off record or private conversations, but based on what's public domain, because I haven't really seen him talk about it. I'm sure he has, but I just haven't seen it. What does Tucker make of the investigation? Because like he was friends with Charlie Kirk. It's personal for him, I would imagine.
So definitely personal.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna talk about like for Tucker, so Tucker should say that himself. But what he told me, like in the interview, it's out there, is very simple. If the FBI doesn't do a sufficient investigation, people should go bonkers. That's what he said, and I agree.
I agree too.
And the reason we're here, me and you talking about this, is because they haven't done sufficient investigation. If they had, then we wouldn't be here.
They're too busy up in Valhalla.
Right.
Funniest thing of all time.
Oh my God. I want to ask you a question now.
Okay.
What's up with, I ask this to everyone that had any relationship with Cash Patel and Nim Bongino. These are two people that I really admired, like when they were out, right? Like these are two people that said the right things. Like,
love what she's saying because it's so true. I was so excited to see what they were going to do. And I am so disappointed, as so many other people are. Cash Patel more than Dan.
Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like Cash is going to direct the FBI finally, like, diaper's going to change. Like, something's going to happen. And we are sitting with Charlie Kirk's murder. And they are telling us the biggest bullshit I've ever heard. Even at some point, like RFK's like murder makes sense, but not this. What? And doesn't it strike you odd that Tyler Robinson is like secret and hidden from everybody?
Yeah. There's really nothing about this that strikes me as normal.
Right.
They
By the way, he's supposedly in solitary, and I find that to be very alarming because the trial is not until January. And that's an awfully lot of time for him to become so sad and depressed and be an example of EP. We could follow the rest. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't even make it to trial. I also want to point out that I think they would have loved, he said, oh, well, I turned myself in because I didn't want, to be hurt when the feds and everybody came into my house to get me. I didn't want my family to be hurt, whatever. But then you have people saying he was suicidal. Well, a suicidal person isn't going to be afraid and say, hey, I turned myself in because I was so afraid that I was going to be shot or my family was going to be hurt. So I turned myself in to avoid the chaos of when they bust your door down and they come to get you. Can we make sense of that? Can we answer that question? Because that's weird.
No. They paved over the whole scene, I think within like 5 days. They put like a water fountain there.
I actually went up and checked on it.
Yeah.
Why are they changing everything? Like, that's the thing. Like, what is going on? They changed the roof to the thing as well. Like the roof.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing that's really sticking with me is the lack of autopsy. Because yes, we all saw it on camera on multiple
Well, they
angles.
said they did an autopsy. It's just Utah law conveniently says that it doesn't have to come out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that is convenient because usually autopsies are public record. So I find that to be interesting. In most states, it's public record. So that is very telling.
Like the
And for all you people who are saying it's none of our business, well, I mean, this is the most transparent FBI, and yeah, it is technically none of anybody's business, but if something happened to me, you would be able to view my autopsy report. So why is this any different? It shouldn't be any different. Charlie Kirk was not a politician. He was an activist. Not saying that he's not important. I'm saying that he was not a politician. So, and it's not like he was, I don't even know what he was a public figure. Yes, but still, it's just, it doesn't add up.
The lack of public transparency that's in the best interest there for us to be able to see, because what the autopsy will show is you'll see, you know, a diagram picture where they have the, you know, basically like the lines that show the angle it goes in, and people, you know,
they're not stupid.
They'll be able to let that in the public domain, and the expert's going to expert at that point. I don't understand why they won't release that.
That's why they won't release that, Jullian. That's exactly why they won't release that.
And talk about the bullet. Let me tell you something cool.
Yeah.
So everyone's, and this is like, so they're talking about conspiracy theories. So when this happened, like everyone just went like crazy about, oh, he was wearing a.
Are we ready for this party?
I'm sorry, guys. I am going to pay to where we don't have ads. I need to so bad.
Bulletproof vest or whatever, and the Tyler Robinson had the gun in the pants. Like, so when I get on a case to investigate as an investigative journalist, like the first thing I do is separate. I separate the noise from what's real, right? Excuse my language. Everyone could see the nipples, Charlie's nipples. He's not wearing the vest. Let's move on. Like, why are we still talking about it, right? Skinny jeans, picture, Tyler Robinson. We know how. Like, no way, there's a gun. Move on. But here's the problem. Once you move on from that, like me and Ian talked about this, like the skinny jeans and gun. Okay, so then if he didn't have the gun in the pants, then did he even use that gun? What was that even the gun that was used because that's how we know, like he walked with it, hid it, right? Like, then how do you know it was the gun?
The 3006 bullet is what's really getting me, and I am not a ballistics expert.
Right.
There's someone that I'm going to have in who I really want to discuss this, who is, but from what I have been told from people who are, and please fill in the comments here if you are a ballistics expert, the idea that from 200 yards, a 3006 bullet would be shot and have a direct hit on the neck and not literally blow the head off. I mean, it was a violent shot, don't get me wrong, but
every special ops says what you just said.
Like, that's a little bizarre. Exactly. And also, you know, optically speaking here,
right?
When Andrew Colvett, who was like the producer for Charlie Kirk, went to write out that tweet about talking with the surgeon, where he's like, the surgeon said that Charlie was truly Superman and the bullet would have gone through anyone else. Even if for some reason that were true, and I don't think it is, even if it were, that's one of those, like when you're a kid, your parents teach you to count to 5 before you press send. That's one of those, you write it out and you go into a quiet room with no phones near you and read it out loud to yourself and ask yourself this question: is this in any way helping this case? Just start there. The answer is immediately no if you have an IQ even at room temperature. Right. And then you ask yourself the question, is this going to cause us bigger problems? And once again, the answer is immediately yes if you have a room temperature or below IQ.
For someone in charge of PR, that was, I don't know how he thought that was going to land well. It gave everyone JFK Magic Bullet vibes.
And the fact that he wrote that tweet and actually pressed send, it was Magic Bullet all over again. And it's like, and by the way, he was saying it in like a, you know, they've been like religiousizing, that's not a word, but his death, he was saying it in this like prophetic way, like Charlie was, and I'm paraphrasing here, people, but it was like Charlie was truly touched by God that this bullet wouldn't go through. Malaka, he's dead. Right. He didn't like rise from the dead or like suddenly like get shot and be like, here's the bullet, I'm good, fam. He's dead. Like,
the statement was, even in death, Charlie Kirk is saving lives. That was the statement.
It wasn't a miracle. He died a horrible death. We all watched it. He left a family behind. This is a person. Like, it's not a miracle.
Right.
Like, I don't give a fuck if the bullet went through to fucking Vietnam.
Right.
He's dead.
That's it.
Like, what? It's just been frustrating. Everyone involved is just frustrating. It's just,
Have you?
Not to mention, every single one of these people that claimed to be close to Charlie or they were his best friends, I'm sorry, like, no emotion whatsoever. We are just like so in our faith to where, you know, this is God's will. I can tell you that my pastor at my church, Pastor Scott, when Pastor Josh was killed, the Bible tells you that God mourns with you. Like, it is okay to mourn. So for them to be like, oh, well, we're just fine and we're not crying because we're so connected to our faith and this is God's will and Charlie would want this or want that is a load of crap. It's a load of crap. It does not mean that you don't mourn when someone passes away. This life is extremely hard. It's like I told you guys in my video before that I did about faith. We are going to go through trials and tribulations. We are going to go through loss. That is part of being a part of this life until we have eternal life, to where there is no worry, there is no sickness, there is no crime, there is no evil. We're told that. It doesn't take your emotions away. It's weird.
Heard of this theory. Now they are trying to, like, this is where it's just so, it gets so stupid. Like, now they are saying, well, you know what? It was a conspiracy. It was, but
Who's saying that?
Like, there are theories out there that are people saying,
oh yeah,
and I don't know where it originated, but I can guess they're saying it was a conspiracy theory, but it was all leftists. It was not just Tyler, but it was like all of them got together. Okay, there was a conspiracy by some leftist idiots, like whatever, demonic people, and wanted to kill Charlie. And FBI is so dumb that they don't know about it. Why would they cover up just a bunch of idiot devil worshippers? Like, what are you talking about? So
what if here's one. I don't even think I've thought of this, but you're making me think of this now. What if like they really fucked up here and they should have known it was coming and they found out they should have known it was coming and now they've just been trying to cover their tracks?
Could be a case. Honestly, nothing would surprise me when it gets to FBI. Like, who said it to me? I think it was Tucker who said, like, you know how, like, you think FBI is corrupt, right? It's 3 times worse than you think. Like, it's how it is. And it doesn't matter whether it's Kesh Patel, Dem Pangino, like they are still in the system. They cannot clean up anything. Like, it doesn't work that way. And the major question here is, though, okay, so we know they killed him. Do you have any like suspicious that they didn't and it was just Tyler Robinson? Like, would you agree that it was a conspiracy?
The correct answer right now is technically I don't know, but again, the way they've said, oh, it's Tyler Robinson, he just shot the bows at 30:06, nothing else to see here, again, doesn't add up for me. I also
take what we tell you. Shut up, you peasant. Do not have critical thinking skills. You are not allowed to think. Take the crap sandwich we're giving you and eat it and smile. Move along here. That's exactly what you were given.
I think we're never going to know the truth on this, unfortunately.
You know, I'm more optimistic about this. I think nobody can prove Kennedy's case anymore, even though I told you this when we started, I can give you all the names. Like, I'm pretty sure David could too, and many others, but the proof won't be there because these people Bush headed the CIA. You think he's gonna leave anything behind not shredded that implicates him or his family? Of course not, even though he's implicated. So, here's what I think about Charlie. I think if people play their cards right on this one, this might be the one and original case scenario where people can solve this case. Like, I think that it's doable.
The fact that it was in the modern day and it's on video,
right,
from at least 4 different.
As I said in previous videos, too many cell phones, too many people obsessed with cell phones, too many people obsessed with social media. Again, social media is a great thing, but it is in this situation, it's not helping anything.
Different angles,
right?
And then a couple angles that have an SD card that was handed over to the FBI. It's different. Yeah. It's different, and there could be, but it also. The greatest way to cover something up is to create a chaotic scene.
Exactly.
Because it's easy to hide in chaos. And I just, that was such a, we were on air when it happened. I was in here with the religion business guys, crazy. and we literally stopped to go to the bathroom real quick right when it happened. And Deef was like, oh my God. And then we got right back on air. And, it just, the whole thing sent a chill down my spine because it's a real Rubicon being crossed. No matter who did it, it's a Rubicon being crossed where someone with a extremely prominent following,
right,
and say in the political sphere, whether you agree with their opinions or not, was shot and killed for something in their beliefs.
right.
And the fact that there are some people that can't see what an awful precedent that is in the modern age, it blows my mind.
Right.
You know, this is not something that should be shoved under the rug or forgotten. It should be investigated 6 ways to Sunday. It should be citizen investigated 6 ways to Sunday. You know, we deserve to know the truth here, and we deserve to know the truth on everything.
Exactly.
But it is this one was just, it was particularly spooky for me.
Yeah. And you know what I want to say about,
and a big point to make here is a lot of people that don't take this seriously and don't want to ask questions. Like I said, if you look up the Karen Reed trial, you know, it's Tyler Robinson today. It was Karen Reed months ago. It can be you. And that's the problem. People don't care and they don't want to touch a situation because it doesn't affect them right now. It doesn't affect them personally. The problem is that it could be you. And how I always try to look at everything is if it was you, you would pray that people, if you were sitting in jail, would be doing the exact same thing that everybody is doing right now. And for everyone saying, oh, people wouldn't care. The only reason they care is because Candace Owens is covering this. That is absolutely not true. There were plenty of people asking questions immediately, plenty of people speaking about this. And it is not wrong for anyone to come out and make videos and speak about this because it's the only way you back them into a corner if you don't shut up and you just keep going and keep going and keep going, because what they're banking on is everybody gets fatigued, everyone forgets about it and moves on. This is kind of like, it's not a race. It's a marathon that we have to keep going. So don't worry about how fast you're running. It's about the longevity of, can we all keep going to fatigue them to where eventually they have no choice but to address this. So everybody putting other creators down or saying, oh, people are grifting or whatever. Well, so is TPUSA by using the Charlie Kirk podcast show to continue to put their crappy content out about their friend that they supposedly cared about, which via video footage with your own two eyes is obviously a lie. You want to know what it is? None of them are talented. None of them are decent people. None of them are inspiring. So they have to post on that channel because it is the only way that anyone, sees their crap. Because if Andrew Colvett or Blake Neff were totally inspirational people, great people, and they were just so amazing, they would make their own page and post on it. But they can't. They have to ride the coattails of Charlie. And the last thing I'm going to say before we finish this video is Erica Kirk came out and said, I forgot what interview it was. She said, we will not. Oh, it was on the Charlie Kirk show. She said, we will not be posting on his Instagram because that's morbid. Well, my question to Eric on TPUSA is, how is it not morbid to post on his YouTube? How is that not morbid? It is. They didn't do that with Rush Limbaugh's podcast. They changed the name. Hello. And why did they take some of Charlie's videos down? Why are we taking his stuff down? That page should be memorialized. They say that everyone else is ruining Charlie's legacy. No, you people are. No, you guys are. You guys are grifters just as much as everybody else that you're calling a grifter. The pot calling the kettle black. Once again, sorry, I'm worked up.
About this real quick. So Charlie dies, right? And then these people never do. By these people, again, like CIA gets all the credit, but let's throw in NSA, like they are no less than CIA when it gets to, terrible shit. And where people completely disregard Navy intelligence and their, the paramilitary group. So it could be any of them, really. Like it could be any of them working with whoever. So
this Black Friday, you can clean your retainer at the touch of a button. No.
Sorry, guys. I think we're only going to do a couple more minutes of this, and then we're just
going to easier.
You guys can watch the whole thing, but let's.
The interesting thing is they never do anything just for one outcome, right? So when they do something with it, it's like, allowing 9/11, which I believe they allowed. There was a pre-knowledge of it. Like we're not going to go into it, but
yeah, that'd be another whole
yes,
podcast.
definitely not. So, but whether it's that Iraq war, whatever it is, right? It's never for just one goal. So it's like, we're going to get this, and this out of it. Okay. So what did they get with Charlie? It's very simple. Charlie was bringing people together, people who were completely divided. And he was a unifier, or whatever you want to call it. Right. So all of a sudden, they killed a figure that is very dangerous in the future. Maybe not now, but in just what was he, 20 something? Can you imagine?
32.
Yeah.
31.
Yeah. So can you imagine when Charlie's in his 60s?
Yeah.
How much work he could have done?
Yeah.
He was uniting people together. That's one. So definitely needs to go, right? Because US cannot be united. Then we think, we become stronger standing together.
A divided society is a compliant society.
Exactly. Divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. Second, of course, you win the whole Israel thing, because he's about to divert, you kill him, and then you can manipulate the narrative. And people say, well, people still don't. Yeah, but they try to manipulate the narrative. Remember, Benjamin Netanyahu comes out right after this happens and starts talking about how Charlie loved Israel. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So they try to hijack the narrative to make it seem like Charlie died as a whole Israeli lover or something like that, right? In reality, and Israel, we should not talk about Israel as a country. Let's talk about Benjamin Netanyahu. It's total different.
Yeah.
Love that she said that, because once again, it's not about Israel and its people. It is about the tyrannical government. I've said this 1,000,001 times. Questioning the tyrannical government is not hating Israel and its people as a whole. And you have to be able to separate the two, not generalize.
Concept, okay? So
Absolutely.
Benjamin Netanyahu seems plays it as they were friends, and I invited, blah, blah, blah. Try to hijack the narrative. Tell me what you think. Would he not be successful if not for Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and in a way, Megyn Kelly? Take these three out of the occasion for a second. What would we know today? That what? Charlie was what? Charlie was best friends with Netanyahu.
Right.
And so the narrative that he wanted to plant would be implemented.
I think the most interesting quote or anecdote after Charlie's death that has gone largely ignored was actually what Dave Smith said.
Oh,
Did you
I don't
hear
know
this?
that. No.
Okay. So Dave Smith, I believe he went on a stream with Sneeko a few days after Charlie's assassination. And Dave Smith was invited by Charlie to speak at a Turning Point conference where he was debating this other guy, I think Josh Hammer's his name, who's a pro-Israel guy, on stage. And that was towards the end of July, I want to say. And so Dave, I believe, had never been in person meeting Charlie Kirk at that point. And so Dave is explaining this. He's like, I spent an hour with the guy. And we start talking and we're getting into it for 15 minutes. And he said, the thing about your favorite political commentators, I hate to break it to you, is most of them don't fucking read books. He's like, I read books. It was very clear within 15 minutes, Charlie reads books. We were talking about all different types of, literature across the board. And now, and so it got to a point where I was like, oh, okay. All right, Charlie, you're a smart guy.
Right.
You get it. Right. You know what's going on here over in Israel. Why are you so on it? And Charlie, the way he described it is Charlie went, no, listen, my faith is my number one thing to me. The Israeli government protects the Christian sites. If the Muslims took over the country and it was a radical group that did it, they would probably destroy them. And I care about those sites more than anything, which he said it just like that, according to Dave Smith.
Which is exactly true. I've talked about that in previous videos as well.
Smith. And then Dave was like, okay, well, can we do that without the genocide or whatever? He's like, and he, and he was like hemming and hawing on it. What was so clear to me, though, is that it was a complete nonchalant admission that Charlie, in my opinion, for right or wrong, this is just it's seemingly a fact, never gave a shit about like the things he expressed out loud about the Israeli government or whatever, or claimed to tie to the Bible or whatever. It was a transactional agreement for him for his faith where he prioritized it. And so it would make sense that someone of faith finally got to a point where he couldn't support a government's actions where women and children were being killed to such an extent that he finally would have had a breaking point on that. And I think that is absolutely something that should be looked at here. And to your point, you know, Benjamin Netanyahu's PR.
How do we build apps?
1000% Charlie Kirk was very valid in that. And that was extremely great that he brought that up. Sorry, guys.
Whatever. After Charlie's death was some of the worst executed PR I've ever seen in my life. And it's like, you know, as someone who's really studied that guy's whole life for years, until very recently, I'd say probably until the last 2 or 3 years, Benjamin Netanyahu as a politician was a William Jefferson Clinton level politician, a fucking political genius. He has completely lost his fastball. He has no concept.
Also, for BB to come out and constantly, I mean, it was more than one time where he was like, I didn't kill Charlie. I didn't kill Charlie. I didn't kill Charlie. Why are you doing that? He wrote me a love letter. I didn't kill Charlie. That's weird.
Of where he stands. He has less than zero self-awareness. He is making it's like watching a fucking, you know, someone who's deaf conduct an orchestra. All due respect to deaf people. I don't mean to shout at you guys. I'm just saying, like, it's and probably there's a great composer out there who was able to do that well. But like, you know what I mean? It's like a disaster class at all times. And so you cannot look at those two things and not say, well, is there a question to ask there? Sure there is. Of course there is. He was clearly having a moral conundrum there. And what's funny is when I would have conversations with people over the last 2 years, really trying to talk about this issue and the insane, you know, arguments and nuances, whatever the fuck you want to call it, in the Middle East conflict, I would always cite the October 12th, I believe it was October 12th, 2023 interview with Charlie Kirk on PBD, where he came out and said that shit. I remember the day he said that, and I was like, that's the most pro-Israel young guy on the right side saying that. And remember when he like looked to the sky, he's like, I'm gonna be careful how I say this. They're gonna ethnically cleanse. And I was just like, I remember watching that like, and yet you don't think that same guy would be wrestling with the morality when there's 2 more years of, you know, a brutal war that's having some awful, awful downstream effects, killing people? Of course he would. Of course he would.
Can you imagine how brave like you have to be Charlie and say that? Like when you're surrounded by the people that he was surrounded, which is like all pro-Israeli people, right? And all of a sudden he knows, but he was no stupid guy, okay? He knew that after that there would be a war, and he accepted that. Like, this is what I love about this shit. You asked me like, why do you say they're gonna call you Russian puppet? I don't care. Bring it on, bro. Bring it on.
Well, it is.
Okay, guys, there's only like 3 minutes left, so we're going to have to cut this because I have to go pick hubby up from the airport. But I wanted to just show you guys, you know, part of that interview. I think that it was a very powerful interview. Again, Elizabeth Lane and Jullian Dorey. That video only has 227,000 views somehow, which I really have questions on how it doesn't have more than that. And like 6.7K likes, which is wild. So please go listen to the whole interview because they talk about really, really great, important things. I just wanted to share that portion about Tyler Robinson and the Charlie Kirk situation and just get this out there because I think it was a very, very well done interview. I think they're both extremely brave, obviously talented. I don't even need to say that. And Elizabeth Lane, like I said, she's so inspiring for, I think, so many women who want to come into this realm where it's mainly predominantly men. and you get eaten alive. So you just have to be able to bear some of the, you know, the hardships of it. But I just think it was a great interview. I don't think it's gotten enough attention, and I wanted to bring that to you guys. Of course, as always, I'm going to ask you guys, if you like the video, please like it, please share, please comment. It pushes it further into the algorithm for people to see. It helps me, it helps the channel. And of course, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of your support as I continue to try to create really good content for you guys and get certain things out there, along with doing, you know, my own research for things and bring stuff new to you guys to the forefront. I'm working as hard as I can on that. And yeah, I'm so grateful that I caught this interview and this was brought to my attention actually by one of my viewers. It was a really great interview. So unfortunately, you know, Charlie Kirk, and not really unfortunately, I think that's a testament to how, you know, strong his faith was, where you've submitted yourself to being at God's will. And when you're truly living in God's will, you trust his plan. And if the plan is that something, you know, that you are going to die at 32, then you accept that. And I think that's powerful. I also believe, like I've said in previous videos, you come in on a number, you leave on a number. Your book is written before you get here. God knows everything. He sees everything. He hears everything. He knows your heart. And that's part of being strong in your faith. So, you know, and as she said, you know, people are always going to have something to say. You just got to be true to you, stay on your path, and the devil tries to attack, the devil tries to distract. So when you see those things, for all of you out there that are trying to speak truth, or you're trying to be able to speak about topics in front of family or friends that, you know, maybe they wouldn't like or would cause arguments, you know, just stay true to who you are. And I don't think you'll ever go wrong. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day. Sorry, I know it was a long one. And I appreciate y'all. I will see you in the next one.